I found this and I want to give it to you. What does that digging thing mean? What are you talking about? Make room for growth. George Shotgun Shuba played 7 seasons with the Dodgers. He was the first pitch hitter to hit a home run in the World Series. And he knocked the home run in the World Series, and one of the announcers calling the game said these words: "His swing is as natural as a smile." And after the program, or after the game, everybody was using that quote, and they asked him about it. He said, is that what he called it? Is that what he called that just as natural as a smile? He said, no. He said, every day I swing a weighted bat, 44 ounces, 600 times a day, and that's 4,200 times a week. And what you think was just natural. And that's how we feel about people who are spiritual and who are fruitful in their walk with God. Well, you just naturally. No, there's nothing natural about it. You pick this book up and you read it. You get on your knees and you pray. You get up out of the bed and you get in church, and you'll be amazed at how natural it is to be blessed and how natural it is to have a faith that believes no matter what the environment around is doing. And then lastly, he said, not only am I going to dig, but I'm going to dung you. And if you still hadn't figured out what that is, it's manure. It's bad. God can use horrible things to bring miracle growth. The one thing that is so obnoxious in your life that you can't hardly stand it is the very thing God takes and throws on a fruitless tree to make it come alive. Without fertilizer, the tree dies. And fertilizer is not pleasant. You go through things that stink. There will always be in every relationship, sooner or later, your marriage will stink. Your family will stink. Your job will stink. Your finances may stink. You will go through, maybe your health stinks. But God says, I don't waste that. I take it and use it as fertilizer. People give up. They give up instead of growing. The time that God's gonna do the greatest things in your life, they give up, because when God starts tearing up everything around you and then he starts throwing the mess on you, it's just, here's why that's good news. Well, this is not an encouraging, positive word today. Yeah, I'm telling you, God's gonna dig you and God's gonna dung you, and you can't do nothing about it. But here's your last option. There's only one other option left. Remember, he said, I'm coming back at the end of the year, and if you hadn't let me dig you and you haven't let me dung you, throw mess on you, and it not turn you sour, it actually makes you grow. I believe it now more than I ever believed it. Now that they're coming against me, I know that all things are working together for the good. I know that I am more than a conqueror, and I'm not discouraged. That's when your tree begins to blossom. But here's the thing that we ought to be shouting at. How many of you feel like God's just digging all around your little tree? Let me see your hand. How many of you feel like God's even throwing some dung on you? Just be honest, just be honest. Well, here's the good news. This is why you ought to shout. Because the only thing left is to cut you down and burn you. And since if aren't you glad that you're getting dug and dunged instead of cut down and thrown away? God's not through with you. God hasn't given up on you, and he's giving you one more year. What if this was the last? What if you knew? What if God told you this is your last year to fix this, to get real with me? I'm giving you one more year to change things and enjoy your life like it is in the soil that I planted you in. And if I come back and you're still discouraged and defeated, I'm gonna let you have what you complain about. Now, I know this isn't popular preaching right now, and I understand that you came for, but sometimes you don't just need blessing, you need blistering. And I'm a preacher. This is what I do for a living. I have a license, and I'm up here telling you, and I'm preaching to myself. My cry is, this is my year. Dig me, dung me, whatever you want to do. Now watch this. Let me close with this. The Apostle Paul said in Philippians chapter 3 and verse 8, yea, doubtless I count all things lost for the excellency of the knowledge of Jesus Christ, for whom I have suffered the loss of all things. Listen, and do count them, but dung. He said, you know what? He said, everything I've been through, I have lost. I have been beaten with rods. I have been snake bit. I have been left for dead. I have been stoned. I have been falsely imprisoned. I have been lied on. I have been run out of town. I have been tortured. But can I just tell you, he said, I count it all as dung. He said, all it is fertilizer. God took everything I've been through and put it on me, and I wrote half the New Testament, and I couldn't have done it in any other soul. I had to have the mess to bring the message. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel so that you can get notifications on new posts and live streams. Be sure to share this video with a friend. You never know how you can send the Word of God right when somebody needs to hear it. And you can use your social influence for good, for the glory of God. Thanks again. Share it with a friend. And I really appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.